came out earlier, and then we're going to go into your reading for this month. So I feel like some of you are spending quite a bit of money wining and dining and just, enjoying life for this month. So I feel like things are going to be fairly smooth. I feel like overall. Money is flowing in. And I do sense for some of you, lots of travel opportunities that are coming through. They mention aquatic adventures. So I feel like you might be in your element, going to a place near a body of water. I see scuba diving. I see a lot of fish, wildlife. Like I'm seeing you, combing the sands, looking for seashells as well as, starfish is something that comes up. It is the summertime, and a lot of you, there might be, just I'm seeing like really warm days. I'm seeing sands and beaches and activities as well, but I feel a lot more water sports and, going to places where there's a lot of water. What I'm also feeling as well is I'm also sensing that some of you are kind of still involved trying to navigate the energies of a relationship with another person. And you know innately that the other person and you are not quite compatible. I don't feel like there's a true compatibility here. However, you both are, on the same page when it comes to a lot of things, like values. You believe in the same things. You have the same philosophies when it comes to life overall. But the ways in which you navigate each other, it seems like there is a little bit of discord. There's a little bit of tension. But it also creates a lot of attraction. I feel like some of you are in a relationship where there's like an imbalance here of feelings, okay? I feel like one person loves the other person, adores the other person a lot, and the other person, likes you, or you like the other person, but it's not to the same extent. So I feel like there's an imbalance when it comes to who likes who more. And this is something, as a third party looking into this situation, I feel like it's really important for us to be honest with our feelings, right? And you're usually very honest with your feelings. You know how you feel. But I do sense that, somebody is either really, really digging you and you're not feeling the same way, or you're not able to reciprocate for whatever reason to the same extent. But you appreciate their sincerity, you appreciate their honesty. And then I also feel like for some of you, you might be the one that's really in love with the other person. But for whatever reason, they are withholding their affection, or they're not feeling it to the same extent as you are. Okay? I feel like some of you, you're trying to, there's a lot of air signs here. So you're trying to either put money into a situation to improve it, such as, taking the trip, taking vacations, spending a lot of time with another person, wining and dining the other person, investing a lot of resources in the other person, investing a lot of your time in the other person, and hoping that the passion, the chemistry, the love connection can be made stronger. So my advice here overall is that, you need to take the time, you need to pull back your energy, and you need to really focus on you and what really nurtures you, rather than siphoning off your energy to try to work on something with another person, especially if they're not on board, okay? So it's really important for us to, focus on self-nurturing and focusing on overall the things that you need at the baseline, at the foundational level, what you need to make yourself happy. Because it seems like you might be pegging your happiness based on the success rate of a relationship, based on how another person feels about you, which is something that you want to be very careful about, okay? So I feel like this is not a stereotypical like Scorpio energy. A lot of you are very self-assured, but I feel like something's coming through for this month where it's heavily dependent upon another person. And I feel like the other person might say or react in a way where you feel like what you're doing is not enough, okay? And I feel like that's going to create tension in the relationship. So, don't give so much where if they're not able to reciprocate, then you start to keep score. So just be very careful about that, okay? I feel like you're giving a little bit too much to please another person, and they're not appreciative, or they're not seeing the sacrifices that you're making. So let me just go into this reading here. So first of all, we have here the Eight of Wands, and this is long distance communication, a lot of travel. So once again, this basically indicates a lot of opportunities that are going to be coming your way. And I do feel for some of you, you might need to do a little bit of travel in order to grab these opportunities. If they're like internships, if they're part-time work and you're looking, or even if they're like, work that is outside of your geographical location. So if you're in a freelance, capacity, especially, there's a lot of projects that need your touch. There's a lot of people that are demanding, or, trying to contact you in order to employ you as a freelancer, or even to get your services. So I do feel there is going to be a widening, a deepening of financial opportunities that are going to be going your way. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people who are going through like I feel like you might, let's just say, this is what I'm picking up, you might work on multiple projects at the same time. So like somebody who's a consultant who does freelance work, like writing projects. There's a lot coming your way in terms of work, okay? And I feel like it's really going to stabilize your financial situation. If things have been rocky, especially the last, few months, and if projects kind of you might have pushed to get a specific grant or funding for a specific project, and you might have been disappointed because people like financiers are not on board, or whatever you were trying to implement was blocked. I do feel this is the month in which you can revise it, revamp it, and then push it once again back out into the world to see if there will be financiers that are going to be on board this time around, okay? So whatever has stalled, whatever has been met with disappointment, especially like bad news, to do something, to basically write a proposal, or to invest a lot of time in a project, I feel like it's going to bear fruit for you, okay? And even for those looking for work, if there hasn't been, jobs that really meet your pay scale or really meet your expectations in the past, and you feel almost like very discouraged, you feel almost like, oh, this job pays so little, it's not even worth the effort for me to, write a cover letter, fix my resume in order to apply for it. I feel like this is the month in which better financial offers are going to be on the table for you. So I feel like there's quite a bit of money coming through, especially for freelancers, especially for people who are dabbling in many, many projects at the same time. I feel like things are going to be quite stable for you on the financial front, okay? So I feel like an alleviation of financial worries overall. And I do sense that it is a good month for you to connect with other people in order to reap the benefits of these, financial offers that are made available for you. Okay, so go out and grab them. And I feel like even recommendations can be coming through from other people. What I'm also feeling as well is try to get all the traveling out of the picture. This, you're not going to be free to move out and about as you'd hope. So get it out of your system now, and go out and have fun. I do see as well, there's a lot of opportunities for you not only to socialize, to network, to get new jobs, but I also see like to have fun and to, make love connections. Okay, so it doesn't even have to be love, it could be lust, but I'm seeing there is a really, really strong, fun, exciting, carefree month that's going to be coming through in this month. And a lot of you handle responsibilities really well. You take care of practical things, you take care of all your responsibilities before you go out and have fun. But I feel like there's going to be fun and excitement, flirtations, and just good chemistry dotted throughout this month. So there's a lot of opportunities for temptation, for overindulgence, and just letting your hair down. So this is going to be a really good month, I feel, for many of you. And so this brings me back here to these two cards. So let me just talk about this. There is a situation here that is this is a card about regrets, mourning the past, okay? Thinking about a situation where we feel like, did we do something wrong, or was the other person all at fault? So it's like a ruminating type of energy. However, it's showing up in the reverse position. And I feel like for a lot of you, you have an air sign. So this is an Aquarius, Gemini, or a Libra. This is somebody in your life where you feel like you're finally freed from them. You're no longer under their control. And so you can start, if they're a boss, for example, they're being weaned out of the picture. So I feel like, now you're free. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to answer to this person. If they are a relationship partner, for example, and they have been draining your finances, I feel like this is the month in which you're no longer under their thumbs. There's some type of a extraction. There's some type of a finality here where you are moving on away from this person. Okay, so I feel like bosses. I also feel somebody that is very, very, very intelligent. I feel like you might have gotten involved with this person because they just like, they exude so much confidence and so much intelligence and smarts, and they know how to troubleshoot, they know how to solve everything, and they know a lot of information about everything under the sun. And you really admire this person, and I feel like you might have put them on a pedestal where they did not belong. And I feel like because they're so, heavily developed in their higher chakras, in the mind, they might not be very heartfelt. They might not have been very sincere. So it's hard for you to talk to them and allow them to sympathize with you. So I feel like there's this person here, might be an authority figure, might be like a partner for some of you, where you couldn't have that emotional connection, where conversations were not, honest and sincere. And for whatever reason, you're overcoming this situation and you're freed from it. So your financial situation is going to start looking better. You are making connections with, other job prospects, especially as well, because you're no longer under the mandates of this person. Okay, so I feel like an extraction happening, which is going to be really good. And what I'm also feeling as well, both of these coming out basically indicates a very, very long-standing relationship, okay? If you worked with a boss, it's been for a really long time. And I feel like this person, he or she, shows up here as an air sign, so an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. They groom you. They taught you to think and act and behave and speak like them. So I feel like there is a likeness here. They really groom you. And if it's a relationship partner, it's been very, very long standing. There might be children involved in the picture as well. And I feel like this person is so smart that they might have just, convinced you to act, behave, think, and feel like them. And because you're a water sign, you intuitively, know how you feel. But I feel like a lot of the times you don't explain it to other people. And so I feel like this person had trouble understanding you, okay? So they came in like this and they had trouble understanding you. They might also have trouble being honest, being decisive. And then, when they left your life, they're like this. Because you don't express yourself emotionally, they might have turned cold towards you. They might have felt like you didn't care. And because they felt that way, they felt neglected, or they felt like they couldn't understand you, they turn really cold and they turn inwards, and you look at them as if they're very, selfish. So there's a lot of like misplacing values here, and I feel like two people not communicating well, and as a result there's a lot of misunderstanding. Too much has happened, and as a result of that as well, it led to an extraction of this person like out of your life for good. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling here. Some of you might still be dealing with this via work contracts. You might have left them, sought work with another company, with another client, with another situation, and you're still hearing news about this person. And then for others, if it's a divorce, situation, there's still dealings with this person via children. And so what's really interesting is, you're leaving this person behind and you're encountering an energy that is a lot more honest. Okay, so I feel like you have some, possibly like a new suitor coming into the picture that you're charging forward with. Okay, and this time, this is he's not a fast moving character, he or she. This is your energy. They're not very fast moving, And I feel like you have somebody that's pushing you, that's like, hey, do this, do that. And they're very easily excitable. And they have a lot of plans, a lot of ideas. And you're just like, you're telling them like, let's slow down a little bit. It doesn't mean that I'm rejecting you. It's just, I want to take things slow. So I feel like you're learning a lot from your past relationship where you might have closed yourself off. You might not have expressed yourself in a way that allows the other person to understand you. You might have, you might have said something that you feel, explains the situation, but I feel like you didn't elaborate. So the person from the past had a lot of troubles understanding you. They might have even, doubted your skills, your competency level, your whatever you were doing because you didn't elaborate. And they needed, like explanations. They needed logically for things to make sense in their head before they can trust you. And so taking this lesson and moving forward, I feel like Scorpios, you are becoming a lot more emotionally open and emotionally expressive and less skeptical of people in general. You're giving people more of a chance. And I feel like there is definitely, accepting proposals that are coming through your way and moving forward with, I feel like accepting new proposals in love, accepting new proposals when it comes to work situation, new work environments, new projects that are coming through. And so you have a new person that's going to be coming through, and I feel like they might even be traveling to come see you. This is somebody who's easily excitable, and even though they show up as an air sign, I feel like this is more of an energy of a person, somebody who is they fight the good fight. Okay, so they're not self-absorbed, they're not like cold and distant and instigating. They're somebody who cares about the greater good. They're somebody who's very like self-righteous, but I feel like there's somebody that's actually very good for you because you a lot of the times are very cautious about things that you do, and you have a good sense of intuitive timing, but I feel like you wait a little bit too long. And so this person is telling you it's time to act now. You need to be on the uptake, like be very very quick on the uptake, otherwise opportunities will pass you by. And so they're really pushing you to do a specific thing, and you're on board because I feel like this person is able to persuade you. Okay, so what I'm feeling overall is I feel like new work projects are going to be coming through in the picture for you. I feel like it might, because we have the Chariot here, this is a stop type of energy in the reverse position. There is a stop to an old person from your life in order for new opportunities to come through. So I feel like, the past is being blocked out. Okay. However, I also feel like projects are being talked busy. So, once again, get all the traveling out right now. Okay. There has been a lot of character development. That's what it feels like. It feels to me like an RPG game where you have to, fight a boss. You have to overcome like a big hurdle in order for you to realize, hey, actually, I'm really strong. And you have to, overcome a lot of like little monsters, like fighting little monsters in order to upgrade your skills. So doing a lot of projects that you feel like, oh, this is beneath me. But I feel like all of those projects that you've been doing, you've been fighting, they really helped you solidify, and they help you really upgrade your skills. They helped you realize which areas you're really strong at. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with selling yourself. You're very good at that. Selling a specific project, advocating, and trying to persuade people to get on board with whatever ideas you have. You're also very good at that. So it's basically teaching you people skills. It's teaching you how to express yourself in a way that caters to your audience rather than climbing up or explaining things to them on a need to know basis, rather than just telling them the whole story so that they can decide for themselves. So I feel like in the past, some of you might have been in situations where you told bits and pieces of a story and you want the other person to fill in the blanks so that they can believe things a specific way. So you might have not been very truthful with the whole story, or you didn't reveal the whole story. You just fed them bits and pieces of information so that they can believe a specific thing in the specific way that you want. And moving forward, because that might not have worked for some of you, it might have backfired. because you were dealing with somebody who asked a lot of questions. So like keeping mum wasn't working in that situation. Moving forward, I feel like you're a lot more open, a lot more directed with your communication. And so I feel like that was a steep learning curve for a lot of Scorpios, how to be very, very truthful, how to be very, very honest, how to be less secretive and be more revealing so that the other person can make up their mind and choose the best course of action based on all the information that you gave them. Okay. So you're not holding back anymore. You're not like, being deceitful or anything like that. But I feel like in the past, a lot of you withheld information. You might have, told bits and pieces, but not really the whole story. And so there's a lot of development that's happening for you guys, okay? And so it's going to be a really good month, a lot of opportunities for socializing. And I also feel as well a lot of gift giving. I feel like some of you are trying to court a person, and there's a lot of generosity coming from your end to the other person. So you've got somebody that you're really digging. You're really feeling that you feel like it can go the distance. Like you feel this relationship, this new business venture, this new partnership, I feel like it can go the distance for you. So actually, let me just leave it at that, and we're gonna transition into your love relationships. Okay, so Scorpios, in terms of relationships, I feel like you're dating somebody new. Their energy feels very, very familiar. So it's almost like they might resemble an ex, a very significant ex. They might have resembled like whatever you're doing with them. It's basically, it harkens back to a previous time where you did the same thing with another person. And their energy feels very similar, like very familiar. I almost feel like past life, unfinished business in a previous time possibly. And so a lot of the times too, past life energies come back in because we have to resolve a specific karma. And so we have to learn how to, work with another person so that we can resolve that karma. Okay, so I feel like something's coming back in. It feels very similar. It feels very familiar. And it's unsettling for you because, deep down you are a very spiritual sign. You believe in the divine. You believe in, reincarnation for some of you. You believe that there is karma. What goes around comes around. And so you try your best to be quite discreet. You try your best as well not to impose yourself on other people. So I feel like there's something here very spiritual coming back around in the love sector. See here. So this first card out of the deck, the Three of Wands, is basically waiting for our ship to come in. But in this spread, what I feel is like turning your back on a specific situation and moving forward, okay? So I feel like overall, this card basically signifies that you've got quite a few suitors that you're either dating, feeling out, trying to get to know, or, trying to move forward with, okay? This is a card about success overall, standing on top of a hill, having a very, very good vantage point to see what's coming through. And you can, because your vantage point is really high, you can pretty much anticipate outcome. Okay, so I feel like you're plotting and you're planning how to move relationships to the next level. And you're plotting and planning, you're deciding between multiple people, like, what's the best outcome for me? Like, who's the best person for me to move forward with? So the thing here is when you have multiple options, right? Rather than going off on that emotional response, oh, this person feels very familiar, they make me feel safe, or this person feels so familiar, they remind me of a situation that didn't work out before, and because it didn't work out before, you feel like maybe I'm getting a do-over, maybe I should go with that person that feels really familiar because God is giving me a chance to get a second chance and make the situation right. Okay, so I feel like you're going off on an emotional response. And so you might choose somebody who is not very compatible with you, but you have that emotional response. You have that type of a, familiarity with them, and so you might go ahead with that person that might not be, you know, entirely appropriate for you. So be careful of that tendency when you tell yourself, maybe I'm getting a do-over, you know, maybe this time around it's with a different person, they seem very familiar, and maybe it's going to work. So just be careful, just be a little bit careful, Scorpio, because you do believe in karma, and you do believe in, you know, there's that divine hand of fate. Okay, so let me lay out the cards. This feels very, very similar to that the Aries reading. It feels very similar. Okay, so it's strange. So I started reading these, you know, all in the upright position, but the cards are still reversed, some of them, but they're predominantly all in the upright position. So it's good overall. So the situation that you're dealing with right now, you're turning your back and you're starting over. So clean slate, new chapter, you're writing the new phase in your life. Okay, so you're turning your back, and I feel like some of you, past relationships, like especially a marriage situation or a situation where you live with another person. Okay, so I feel that you're moving on, you're moving past this, and you're leaving a significant either a marriage situation behind, you're laying it to rest, and you're moving forward. I feel like this is a situation where two people were just not compatible. They wanted different things out of life. And with the Chariot card, it basically indicates success. And, you know, when it comes to like, it feels to me almost as if two people were so concerned with the public image, were so concerned with the way that they looked as a couple. And they were concerned with that image of the power couple. Whenever they both appear together, it's more like it's an ego boosting thing, okay? And I feel like there wasn't a lot of compatibility. But for whatever, even religious reason, you had to stay together. For children, you had to stay together. For that sense of social expectation, you stay together because you looked really good as a couple. I'm seeing for some of you, it's like a power couple dynamics that I'm sensing. So you might be, you know, you might be a doctor, they might be a lawyer. You might be a professor and they're a researcher. So it's like something that goes hand in hand. And because it went hand in hand, you just took it for like as something that's expected of you. And I feel like you and the other person, I feel like one person was very caught up in trying to make, you know, trying to earn a lot of money, trying to build their career, trying to make things work. And because of that, the other person felt very neglected. It was almost like somebody put their work ahead of the relationship partner. And I'm sensing because of that, one person, there might be like a income differential. One person made a lot of money, the other person didn't, and the other person felt like inferior in that relationship. So there is some major power struggles in this relationship as it pertains to self-worth, as it pertains to like how we look as a couple versus like the inner problems that are inherent in the relationship that were glossed over or not properly addressed. And so I feel like that created a breakdown in that relationship. You are pretty much moving away from that. And we have a new person that you're waiting on. This is an air sign. So we have here an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. We also have a fire sign energy here. So this literally just can be a Leo. And I feel like, you know, we have here strong fire signs. So sun, moon, or rising as well. Because with this card, it basically means that you have somebody that is new coming through, that you're waiting on. So there's waiting on communication from this person, waiting on messages from a fire sign, or you have an air sign that is coming into the picture to see you. This is somebody who is very honest, okay? And once again, this came out in the previous reading, so it's coming out again. This is the Knight of Swords. Somebody that has really high moral expectations for you. Somebody that is very communicative and they expect you to open up. Otherwise, they're not going to leave you alone. So when you're dealing with this energy, be very, very careful that you don't hide information from them, or you feel like, oh, this is on a need-to-know basis. You don't need to know. They're going to pry everything from you. And I feel like they do it because they're capable of making the decision on their own. So they need all the facts, they need all the details so that they can make the decision. This is not, like they don't want your input as to how they can make the decision. So I feel like they're quite stubborn about that. And I feel like for some of you, there has been this period of waiting where you have options to choose from. Possibly a fire sign, so Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. And then possibly an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. And you're trying to figure out, where you are, where the air sign is, and where the fire sign is. And you're trying to logically figure out what's the best partner for me. You have these options. What's the best partner for me? And so I feel like the air energy is very, very heavy in this spread, okay? We have here the Knight of Swords as well as the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords, this is somebody who is a little bit guarded, but I feel like she really, really likes you. See, she or he. So you have an air sign here that's really digging you. That's giving you like their love. And you can take it at face value. I feel like it is very sincere, and it is something that is that you need right now, because I feel like this person is going to open you up and make you a lot more verbally expressive. Okay, make you a lot more make you over explain situations. Okay, this is not a strong Scorpio thing. You don't like people to pry into your business. You don't like to have to over explain, and you hate having to repeat yourself. So I feel like this is an energy that is helping you grow. I do sense that, because they're going to ask you about your past, they're going to ask about your future dreams, aspiration. They're going to ask you about everything, and they want you to go into detailed explanation so that they can understand you. If you're not up for that, then just tell them, I'm not sure yet. But I feel like this is going to be somebody that can really help you grow, because they're very honest, and they're very interested, so they're going to dig for answers. Okay, what you're dealing with right now is starting over, taking a leap of faith, investing your love in a specific person. And I feel a lot of you are very, very afraid, because there's that failed relationship from the past that's still haunting you. I feel like it did a number on you guys. You felt very alone. You felt like it was you against the world. Okay, so the other person as well really drained your finances. I feel like they didn't contribute a lot, which you felt very alone in the struggle in that relationship. So financially, it drained you. Physically and just energetically, it was very draining. You felt like every day was a struggle with this person, because they didn't contribute in the manner that you'd long for in a relationship partner. So moving forward, taking this leap of faith is going to be a little bit challenging. And because you anticipate the challenges, because you have this really strong vantage point, you're going with the safe choice. You're going with somebody who is emotionally rational. You're going with somebody who's very logical, who has their life planned out, so that you don't end up in this situation with a lot of uncertainty. So I feel like we're still being haunted by, a relationship that left a bitter taste in our mouths, and it's been done and over with. You've moved on physically, but I feel like you're going with a safe choice this month, mainly because you believe in safety. You believe in not dashing into a situation. And I feel like some of you, so going back to what I mentioned, I feel like somebody really likes you. And I have here an air sign. We have an Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. You might not like them to the same extent, okay? But they are a safe choice. So I feel like you are going forward with it because you feel flattered that they really like you. You also feel that they're very, very honest, but you might not be able to reciprocate to the same extent. So be very honest with the other person if you're dealing with this, okay? I also feel like it might also be a fire sign, so a Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, that you're very, very fascinated by. However, in that situation, there's a lot of sincerity. It seems to me like it might be a new relationship, and it's just starting out. So just give it some time, okay? So we have here strong air signs, strong fire signs, and we have some things from the past that you are finally releasing. So we have some good things, Scorpio, okay? So I hope the reading overall has been very helpful, and I wish you all the best for this month, okay? So If you'd like to book a private reading with me, please visit my website. It is in the description box below. The link for the website is in the description box below. I'll be back for the mid-month reading, and I hope you have the clarity that you need, okay, Scorpios? Take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.